Welcome back to the late Cretaceous period, everybody. I'm here with the Stream Punks. My name is Eric, and these are the Stream Punks. Hi, everybody. It's good to see everyone.
Hi.
Yes, indeed, we have returned after our little bit of a sabbatical there. And now that we're back, we hope you enjoyed Vampire last week, run by one B. Dave Walters as a part of our pre-tape. That was an unlock that we did for our fundraiser. As a quick reminder, we set a hefty goal for ourselves of 5K for that fundraiser, and we were a little trepidatious. We thought we might hit it, we weren't sure, and then Ox Crew showed up by the swarm, and by the end of the fundraiser, we had raised 15K. So that has helped us launch the Stream Punks brand. It has helped us acquire an LLC, and it is continuing to help us build out. And of course, because of the state of the world, everything has slowed to a grinding halt, and so it's taken a bit longer than normal. But I just wanted to give everyone a huge thanks because this campaign, Predation, is also a part of that unlock. So thank you all so much for your support and giving the Stream Punks a chance. We are very grateful. I haven't seen some of these crazy kids for a little over a week now because we had this was our off week for Clear Skies. So hi Gina, hi Rave, it's good to see y'all. And I saw B Dave and Sam. I always see Sam, and I saw B Dave this past weekend killing it as a storyteller for Vampire. No real announcements right now on my end. Do y'all have any projects or things y'all want to announce before we jump into today's game?
It's nighttime somewhere. I always got a bunch of stuff happening, but I would say Beetle and Graham's Kickstarter. I designed it for him. Check it out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have something.
Yes. Speak.
So it got announced last night on the failed save finale, but over at Pixel Circus channel, on November 13th, I'm going to be running a 3-part one-shot, basically, that is a puppet RPG. So that's all I'm going to say about it right now. I want to keep some things surprise, but that's what you get. So check that out. Go follow them so that you can watch me
support our Stream
puppet games.
Yay!
You're muted, Sam. We see the visual excitement, but the auditory excitement is not coming through.
I wasn't making noises. I was only making flaps.
Although I guess Dungeons & Dragons A Dark and Wish returns Thursday at 5 Pacific on twitch.tv/D&D. Season 3, Episode 1. Yep. Well, you'll see a wild Sam.
I just updated my Twitch schedule 20 minutes ago in anticipation. I'm so excited for this season.
It's going to be a lot.
You got anything, Rafe?
Phoenix Dawn Command! Here's on Tuesdays, y'all. I was out last game, but I hear we got up to some shenanigans, and everyone, the usual death.
Usual death.
So here we go. I'm excited for Tuesday's games here on QueueTimes at 5:30 PST. Join us.
Speaking of Ravity Gaming, just as a quick reminder to our Ox Crew out there and our supporters for our unlocks, you do have some Ravity storytelling coming your way. Ravity is going to be running a 10 Candles Bachelorette game, which is going to be pure madness, and I cannot wait for that. Isn't it? What's up?
Also, sidebar, if anyone is watching the new Bachelorette season, it's a total collapse of form, and so I am so ready to play this game because, if anything, this season is setting us up for this 10 candles. So I am ready to GM this, and it's gonna be amazing. And honestly, we should talk about actual scheduling, Jake.
Yeah, let's do that. Yeah.
Quick question: what is a non-binary batch? Are they just a batch?
So I actually don't know because they had I know in Bachelor in Paradise, Demi and Kristen got together, and that was the first bisexual couple on the show. And so if anything, I would almost do it in that format, but we will talk more about this later.
Bachelorettes?
Biatch?
I'll keep
About it.
I like Bachelor X. That's neat.
Bachelor X is actually
It's very
kind of
much
cool.
the classic. I mean,
sounds like
also you
that
could just
hidden
rewrite it as
X-Men
Bachelor X, like capital, and it would sound like just the weirdest combo of X-Men and The Bachelor.
Which brings up the question: what would you call X-Men? Would it just be XX?
I mean, I always say that I have an X on my driver's license gender, so I am an X-Man. Like
that's true. You're already there.
There's like women, there's X-Men.
Right.
Like that's how gender works, right?
I will say, when you said Bachelor X, I just super went like edgelord trenchcoat katana person. You know, like
I mean, I'm not mad at that either.
X.
Like if I'm going to identify through my bachelorhood status, I probably am adopting that aesthetic. I'm here for this.
But now to be monsters.
All right. If there's nothing else, yes, Sam.
I'm excited.
All right. I suppose I'll believe you. Let's go ahead and jump into today's episode of Secrets of Silvercreek.
Puppets! Oh my gosh, puppets!
Welcome back. We are diving back into the late Cretaceous period where our citizens of Silvercreek, our ranger party, as it were, has ventured north in search for that Sati scouting party that's vanished into the wilds. Afraid that they might know too much about the location of Silvercreek, you've all been tasked with something of a grim objective. You need to stop them from reaching Kaleno City, or wherever it is that they're headed, to report back that they've discovered the location of Silvercreek, assuming that they have. It seems likely that at the very least they know the vicinity of your settlement, and the increasing pressure that's being put upon you to protect Silvercreek is made all the more worse by the fact that you've discovered that Silvercreek has actually been, it's not just an old Sati site, it seems to be an old Sati bunker site, which adds a whole new level of complexity to your situation. Sati bunkers are old research facilities that were built into the earth or into, they had a much more dynamic and invasive installation. They were designed specifically to be sort of an outreached arm of the main hub in Kaleno City. Therefore, they are part of the first commute, bringing back technologies and even perhaps data that was brought from the future where you are all descended from. This site itself could be a trove. Now, it's worth pointing out that anything that is from the future is some of the most coveted artifacts that you guys can recover right now. It would give anyone the edge. Not to mention it might unlock who knows how many terabytes of data that could be explaining all sorts of bits of information that have been lost for the past 80 plus years since the last commute took place. In short, you've all discovered picture it like this. Silvercreek has become a small town that's surrounded by hungry sharks, and they all just found out that Silvercreek is built on a gold vein. And they all want to get in on that. It's made Silvercreek something of a hot spot, and it's made it even more important to protect its location. Now, right now, from what you're aware, only Sati has suspicions and a lead that it might be where it is. But the complexity of your issues have changed somewhat as you are now in this clearing, surrounded by members of a faction that has existed here in the Cretaceous period, not too long after the last commute. Now, it doesn't require a roll. Each of you knows who the butterflies are. They are something of a guerrilla group. They're characterized by Sati as terrorists. But what they are is human beings that have eschewed all technology and believe that humankind's presence in the Cretaceous period needs to be eradicated so that the future can be protected. This means that they don't use technology, and if they do, it's to destroy other technology. Also means that they are known to liberate dinosaurs from Sati research facilities. They are known to destroy Sati research facilities. Their methods can be violent. That is not their first course of action, but they actually have no compunction using violence where necessary. They will kill dinosaurs that have cybernetic implants. They consider this as a way of protecting the gene pool and protecting the natural progression of dinosaurs, as it were. They think that the technologies that have been implanted, specifically it's bioengineering that gets them irked. Cybernetic implants, for the most part, can be removed, but if the dinosaur needs to be killed, it can be killed. But it's the bioengineering that really, really gets them. And for the most part, encounters with members of the butterflies have been, the few times that members of Silvercreek have had encounters with them, it's been peaceful. Silvercreek does use technology, and it is a small settlement, but they have not been overtly hostile towards any of you. Over the years that you've lived there, the civilization of Silvercreek has gotten by without raising the ire. The butterflies' beef is with Sati. It's their principal foe, and it's who they despise. That much you all know about these people. The manner of dress in which they wear and how they decorate themselves, as well as the weapons they use, all are symbolic of a civilization that has put away the advanced weaponry brought to the future. There are no guns on anybody here. You see knives, you see spears, you see bone weapons and clubs. You see dinosaur-skinned leathers as using as protection. You do occasionally see what looks like to be a piece of technology, probably reclaimed from a killed Sati agent. Certainly right now, you're seeing what looks like a haul of Sati tech that's been slung over the side of a trike. You can only imagine what happened to the scouting party if this Butterflies unit encountered them, but you're starting to put two and two together because you had been tracking this. You had stumbled across a scav, as you saw, these sort of marauders that nearly killed one of your dearest companions, who, by the way, Steenie is still in recovery right now. She is messed up, but she is stable. As much as you all know about the butterflies, the one thing you didn't know is that Echo seems to be on a first name basis with this particular butterfly, because as the butterflies have approached, Echo was greeted by one of them up front as she was tending to Steenie. Again,
yeah. Echo's standing there with her serrated spear blade that may or may not look reminiscent of those in front of us.
Yeah, that's a fascinating point. It might click for the very first time when you're looking at her spear and seeing the manner of weapons the butterflies are wielding. There's a chilling similarity, and it's starting to click, especially because you've heard this woman reference Echo's name. It's kind of the WTF moment for the group as everyone glances back. Now, these butterflies, of course, all dressed up. They're also covered in body paints, very Pictish in its depiction, very like blue paints kind of pulled over the sides of their faces. But you do see depictions of the butterfly on like necks and whatnot over eyes, but it's more symbolic more than it is like a pretty tattoo, as it were, like half of a wing on the side of a face. There are probably what looks like about 12 of them in total, which is less than you initially thought you saw. But they do have quite a few dinosaurs with them. A couple of trikes, but more interestingly is the woman that's standing in front of you. She has behind her a theropod that you don't immediately identify. I would say I might actually call for a roll here. I would say River and Penny. Gina, you don't have to because you kind of would know this, but I'm going to say anybody who has any kind of knowledge of dinosaurs or dinosaur species specific or who knows how to do this, I would say make a roll here, and the difficulty is 2.
I will just say while they're rolling, Tego is still sitting with Steenie's head in his lap, and I just kind of like drag that Scav's like shotgun towards me, and I'm like cradling her head in one arm, and I'm still just like shh, 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 shh. That's like looking at them with this gun.
The administrations of Echo have actually caused Steenie's breathing to stop going from that panicked like panting of an injured animal. Just it's actually started to relax a lot, and Steenie seems to be resting right now. It looks like the effects of Echo's, the tongue kind of lolled out the side, but the eyes, they look a little more clear. It looks like Steenie is aware of what's going on and just tapped out. But you get the impression that the numbing agents from the healing foam that Echo was able to apply to that horrific wound has actually numbed a lot of the pain for Steenie.
Good.
Then behaving.
I'm just sort of like rubbing on her jaw, like very comforting, but I've got this shotgun. Like, we will all
Which
die,
is
right?
even more comforting to Steenie. So, and Steenie's got, you know, when your puppy falls asleep on the couch and is like, the like demon eyes open, like they're so utterly relaxed and exhausted that their eyes are sort of like still open. That's what Steenie's got in your lap.
I think River has actually also stepped up next to Tego and Steenie and pulled up her own rifle, so you don't feel the need to be as on guard. And I think River wants you to take care of your baby right now. Also, River rolled a 19.
Okay.
So did Penny.
Nice.
Okay. This is not any classification of dinosaur you've ever seen. It is, from the looks of it, from the colorations, and also the look in its eyes and the size of its teeth, the length of its tail, both of you, especially you, River, you think this animal has been bioengineered. This does not look like a standard theropod at all. Its musculature, the way it balances itself, the size of its teeth, and the way it's regarding all of you. Steenie is the one who, of all of the group, Steenie is the one that displays the most familiar animal intelligence to us as players. Steenie reacts almost like a dog might, where they actually understand when people are talking. Raptors, of course, notoriously intelligent. This creature looks slightly larger than Goose and is acting like Steenie. So it's kind of craning its head back and forth and just shifting its weight slightly left and right. Has this dark ashen gray colored skin underneath this plumage of deep purpled feathers that kind of arc off of its shoulder part. Its arms are not as short as the T-Rex's arms. They are slightly longer, putting it about mid-length between the length of Steenie's arms comparative to her body and a T-Rex's arms. Usable another way. Not necessarily for a fight, perhaps, but enough that it's noticeably different and slightly unusual to see on a theropod, maybe on an allosaur, but not on something that looks more relative to a T-Rex.
Goose's neck feathers start lifting.
Okay.
When they see it.
Yeah.
It is larger, which means it is terrible and should die.
It is larger.
Its existence is a challenge to Goose's dominance, which should exist in all places and times.
This would be like what would happen if a kitten encountered a mancoon. That's sort of the differential, like in the food chain here. This animal instinctively, for Goose, you identify an apex superior predator that would be a lethal opponent if Goose were ever to get into a fight with it. To put in perspective for player base, this is a level 6 animal. So it would be dangerous. It's not Stripe dangerous, which is a whole classification unto itself, but it's lethal. Yeah.
Anything that could actually kill Goose, Goose immediately wants to kill.
Yeah. Of course,
I identify with this on a spiritual level, by the way.
Yes.
It is worth noting that Goose is no pushover. Goose is a fucking T-Rex to the core.
Oh, yes, this is some Worf effect, like Goose.
Yeah. What's up, River?
Does this pteropod seem to be connecting with any specific one of the butterflies?
The theropod that's behind this butterfly that's talking?
Yeah. So
yes, you can tell immediately. Okay. It's her companion.
Perfect.
She actually, when she strode up, it followed her, and you can see what looks like a makeshift leather harness around the back of its shoulders for her to like just jump up on and straddle onto.
What's its disposition?
Yeah.
What's its disposition?
Yeah.
It's if you've ever seen like canine units. And how they're constantly, the German Shepherds or the dogs will be constantly looking around, but they'll also be constantly checking in with their handler to see what's up and what their disposition is, because they really get an idea of like who they need to deal with based off of how their handler is acting. That's kind of the behavior of this creature.
Got it. So very locked in.
Mm-hmm,
much more than
in.
Like some kind of like, Penny and Clever, who are very recent.
And the last thing I will give you is the last piece of information with a 19, which would technically be a minor effect if this was a combat roll. With the 19, I will give you that you can see on the under half of its thigh the remains of what clearly looks like branding from a SATI research facility.
Okay, cool.
The woman that stands in front of you looks mixed heritage, probably African American, and maybe Asian, so like mixed heritage. You can see that she is got her hair pulled back tightly to get out of her way, and it looks like it's been crudely just chopped off to get it out of her so she can manage it. She is decorated, though, what looks like bones and teeth and whatnot that have been adorned on the sides, some kind of symbology of maybe conquests or animals. You're not entirely sure exactly what it's supposed to symbolize, or if it's some kind of symbol of rank. However, Echo, you know exactly who this is. This is the lady herself, Aldane, Queen of the Butterflies, a woman that basically heads the entire organization and their most feared warrior. Standing at 5'7", she is one of the most dangerous people in La Remidia. And you have not seen her for some time.
That is the exact words that come out of Echo's mouth finally, as she sees that everyone has been scanning each other, but no one is quite making a move. But Aldane has addressed her, so she just shouts across the field at them. It has indeed been a while.
It's clear to those of you who are watching without a perception roll, the reaction of some of them hearing Echo's voice. There's a reaction, like they're looking at each other, like realizing that Echo is over here, perhaps. But they're all on edge still. You can see them in the tree lines.
And I continue speaking to Aldane. My party and I were tracking a SATI search group.
The scouting party? We found them. We were tracking them too, have been for about 4 days. We had to hunker down when the hurricane blew in. You were after them too?
Yes, we came upon them while we were scouting. And we narrowly escaped a slaughter and they decided to walk away, but we both know that that's not really how they operate, right, Aldane?
No, that's not how they operate. She nods then at Steenie and says, we can help if you want it.
She's stabilized for now. That would not be up to me, Aldane. This is not... Steenie, is family too. And then puts a hand on you. This is Tego's family.
Tego just sort of like looks at him and his eyes kind of narrow. And then, but without taking my eyes off them, I just say to Echo, would you let him patch up Goose?
I already did.
I accept.
That's right. Goose is how you met Goose through the butterflies. Goose would actually identify this.
Yes.
Goose would actually know this creature that is behind Aldane.
This is a rivalry. This is
If Goose specifically knows the creature, it is an even deeper and more profound hate because Goose was injured.
Yeah.
Like it has seen Goose in a time of weakness.
Yeah.
Goose, I cannot overestimate just the absolute.
Real quick, to player information, because you would have this Echo, and so and Goose wouldn't necessarily know this, but the animal's name is Breg, B-R-E-G. And what you know about Breg, Echo, is that Breg was indeed rescued from a Sati facility.
How long ago?
Oh, maybe about 10 years.
Okay, got it.
Close to about 10 years. You would also know, Echo, that that Aldane herself is former Sati. She used to be head of one of their research facilities some years ago.
Yeah.
And when she fled, she took Breg with her. And Aldane does a motion, and you see a couple of the butterflies come running forward.
Running forward how?
Oh, they're running like at a full sprint to get up behind Aldane.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Do I recognize them?
They're
because it's been a few years. Like there's been shifts.
You don't recognize these four in particular, but as they rush forward, Aldane nods to them and says, "We're going to help that one." Leaning forward, one of them says in Pidgin something, you catch a word or two.
Yeah.
And Aldane waves and says, "No. Later. For now, we help."
Thank you, Aldane. And I just,
insight check.
Yeah, because
I'm sorry, not River, Echo.
What am I using for that? How does
that's an
check?
Intellect. So that's an intellect check. So do you have anything of like perception or anything that might help you perceive how people are behaving or anything like that?
Not humans, no.
No, ain't that the truth.
I've got and I'm trained in initiative. That doesn't work. Dynos, medicine, herding, that sort of stuff. There's not much I know about people.
She's not doing much to mask this, so I'm only going to set the difficulty at 2. But it's an insight check, so you have to be an intellect roll here. So if you were going to spend out of a pool, that's what you would use.
Okay, yeah, I'll spend 1 to drop the difficulty.
Okay, all right. So the 2 will drop down to a 1. You need a 3 or better on a d20.
11.
11. She does not mask it at all.
Okay.
And maybe the others didn't catch it, but that beat long linger as she turns and kind of like looks at you.
Yeah.
She's not happy. She's
about me?
Yeah, there's a mixture of like pleased to see you and has some words for you kind of look.
Okay.
As she angles away. And then with amazing grace and a single body motion, angles her arm up and swings up onto the back of this great theropod that just lunges up to its full height and towers about a head taller than Goose. What's up?
I was just going to say, completely immune to subtext, and now that Steenie's not bleeding anymore, Nines is just happily rooting through the, like, over here looking for, like, buried plants and things. Like, everybody's, like, having this tense standoff, and he's like...
Like a dog, like, shoving blankets with its nose.
Yeah, just like, there's some yummy tubers over here. And he's like, yeah.
River's just gonna go stand by him and make sure he doesn't accidentally set off one of the other bigger dinosaurs. Just let him do his thing. Oh, good, you found something, and just give him encouragement. Great. This will be good.
Goose, meanwhile, gets their head very low and close to Echo and cranes their shoulder to the side as if, look, they got tall. We need more height. You are me now. We need tall. We are a threat.
Echo's given Goose the like, okay, hang on, baby. Like, and Echo drops down to Tego, and kind of get like, to everyone else would just sort of look like a, you got this, buddy, hug. And then Echo just whispers, you never leave her side, no matter what they say, okay?
I wouldn't dream of it. And you give a whistle if we need to misbehave.
Can do. I can vouch for some, but there's a lot of new members, and we need to be cautious.
I understand. I will say... Is Echo, the fact that Echo was a butterfly, the thing that we kind of commonly know? Like, I mean, even if we haven't like talked, right.
No, and Echo's deliberately hidden that fact. Echo, if you remember, if I remember correctly, Gina, and you can go ahead and tell the story here, but you've actually been pretty close to the chest about your past.
Very. I would say most of you don't know anything out unless you knew me in childhood, and then there was a period where I was no longer in town, and then. But that's pretty common. People go on adventures and do trade route stuff and figure out where they're going. She was always kind of a wandering kid. So her disappearing for a few months is not really unheard of.
Yeah, I didn't know and I didn't ask. And I'm kind of confused and maybe betrayed. I haven't decided yet.
But you will know that when one day she just came back with Goose and she was pretty banged up.
I will just say this then, as you're letting go, I just kind of like hook a finger like kind of on your jacket and I just say, I don't care where you come from. And let her go.
I stand up and I go over to Goose and I run my hand again along the long scar across their gut. And hook myself right up the tail and start running to the top.
Okay, anime style.
Yeah. Just
dashing up the back of this great dinosaur.
Yeah, just parkour. Just no fear. Run.
All right.
As it should be.
Yeah.
All right.
We're tall now.
I know Steenie's still injured, but can she walk, or do I need to carry her?
No, you're not. Yeah, thankfully you don't have to carry a 300-pound raptor. Instead, you are seeing that they're actually looks like they're bringing one of the trikes over.
Because I was prepared to. I got that Cypher, but I'm going to save it for an emergency. I'm not going to show off if I don't have to. So if they have a way to move her, I let them. Yeah.
Because you don't know exactly how far you guys are going, but carrying a 300-pound dinosaur, especially one that's nearly 3 times your size and its length, is going to be. That would be quite
rough on the knees.
Yeah. But thankfully, you see them, judging from the way they're handling Steenie and the care that they're taking, and also the way they're strapping Steenie to the back of this trike, they clearly have a lot of animal handling experience. It kind of reminds you of like watching a rancher like deftly and directly deal with animals, essentially. But they get Steenie minding her wound. They get her in a position on the back of this trike. The trike, remarkably, cool as a cucumber. just stands there and kind of chews on some long grass that's in front of it without even really noticing what's going on.
Like Echo said, I don't leave her side. I do make a point to remember all the faces of the ones that are loading her up. Like if we get separated, I'm like I know these three people.
So the woman that's sitting in front of the trike, she glances back at you and says, "Up." Extends her hand.
All right.
And just this strength in her arms as she helps pull you up onto the back of this trike. So you're actually up there with Steenie now and behind her as she urges the trike to start moving. And it takes a few seconds for the trike to be like, no more eating. All right. As this trike begins to move forward. And with that, there's a whoop call out to the rest of the group as they begin to turn. As y'all are starting to move forward again for the first time, River, as you're moving through this tall grass, glancing down to your right, you see what looks like a human hand laying in the long grass that's gloved and torn, clearly a Sati uniform that's been ripped asunder. It occurs to you that that hand is probably not necessarily attached to anything. But it does look reminiscent of perhaps a member of the scouting party.
Okay, this is good to know. I think River's gonna not do anything about it right now, but she might fall a little bit back and just make a mental just a mental map of this location so she can come back later and maybe take a look around. But everyone's moving forward right now, and she doesn't quite trust these people yet with her friends. So there's that. What is Penny doing, by the way?
Yeah. Penny is starting to run up alongside Echo and Goose and sort of jump a little bit by the shoulder, being like, hey, excuse me, Goose. Excuse me. Echo, what the heck? How do you know these people? What's going on?
Clever is right behind you. Every time you jump, Clever jumps with you. So it's like a leap, and we're leaping like two dolphins in the sea.
Okay. So, how tall are you running? Just alongside? All the way down at the bottom of Goose?
Yeah, I mean, I'm a string bean, but
yeah,
you're tall. There's I would estimate 6 feet between us. So there's definitely, this is hollering. This is not whispering.
Okay.
That would not work. It's not like a full-throated holler. But
just
you have to use your stage voice at this height differential, given that you're sitting and on Goose's shoulder. I'm jumping a bit, but I'm not on Goose. I enjoy being alive.
Sure. All right. I'll climb down to about hips, so that riding hips, so can lean down and have a slightly more private conversation. And we'll give you the kind of not everything here eyes, but a little bit of the right, which don't work on you, but very much a, do you remember when I left when I was 15?
Kinda, maybe. No? Yeah? Yeah. What?
It's not as nefarious as it sounds. I just
Did you blow stuff up?
No.
Did you blow people up? Did you do stuff to Sati?
If you guys are getting closer together, I want you to know that Clever is going to try and stick herself between the two of you.
Understood.
It's just every few. Okay, and then
Yep.
We both want to know. Maybe it's happening a thing.
Echo clearly doesn't like this conversation, but knows that you gotta trust this, so she's gonna tell you. And does not answer those questions, but is very much, look, they're kind of how I have Goose, okay?
What?
Well, it's a little, I went to kill Goose, and we ended up, and she kind of is hanging off one half of Goose, just like fully like monkey bars, trying to get down to Penny's
Over
level.
that ridge in the spine.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And is rubbing the section of her chest that has the huge scarred over gash in it. And we kind of killed each other, and the butterflies saved us. And they didn't have to. They're not as bad as the rumors, you know.
Or they're that bad and maybe they're also good.
Yeah.
But we
like
don't know which
everything
one they're
else.
going to be right now.
Yeah.
And you never told us. Because sometimes they're bad.
I told you, Penny. It's never fun when it's a mixture. And then Echo climbs back up.
Yeah, Penny kind of kicks the dirt, and you may or may not hear them say, "Should never have let you in my treehouse."
No!
This is, mark this in your calendars, folks. The first time I've seen character conflict between these two players.
I appreciate that she almost dies as Stinging last time. She almost dies as Echo this time.
Yeah. Welcome back for part 2 of Let's Kill Gina Week.
Exactly. Just mental and
Gina
physical
dies of
aggravated
broken
damage.
heart. End of story. Goodbye, Echo.
Somewhere out in the multiverse, Finn just grabs Roko and squeezes a little bit closer as they're watching the live stream. So,
It's okay, I'm sure it will just make them stronger.
Oh yeah, go ahead, River.
Oh no, just Clever is ready to fight Goose now, because if these are our enemies, it's just like it's we're either friends or we're enemies, and now we're enemies. And so Clever is going to spend the rest of the day probably trying to antagonize both Goose and Echo.
There are two kinds of enemies: those who've been properly dealt with and those who are still alive.
Yeah, exactly. And that's all I got to say about Clever, protecting their human.
Okay. Among all of this, of course, is still just Nine, who's just like this big, hefty boy, just kind of shuffling through the woods.
The same way the Triceratops is sad that it's time to stop eating now, Nines gets that memo a solid 30 seconds later. Like, still like,
Yeah. I'm gonna bring some of this with me. Just kind of
But I do think it's important to like also note that like that same like Sachi research like brand that the Therapod has, like Nine also has it, but Nine is a little more faded. It's almost like when you get a tattoo when you're younger, like you grow out of it. So it's like a little more distorted, a little bit more faded.
Has River been forthcoming with where she came from?
I wouldn't say it's forthcoming necessarily, but it's more like if it happens to come up in conversation, she's not going to be like, and now we're shutting that down.
Okay, gotcha.
So her name's
on a scale of 1 to Lacat.
On a scale of 1 to Lacat, she is closer to I would say like a 4.5.
That's sort of what I'm feeling. So Penny hasn't picked up on it yet, but there's a very different set of expectations there.
Yes, exactly. I don't think she would lie to any of these people, basically, in the way that Lacat easily lies to her teammates. I don't think that River does not lie to her friends, because these are her family. So she does want to try and talk to, not necessarily what's her name? Adeline? Aldane. Sorry,
Aldane.
I can't read my own handwriting. She doesn't want to talk to quite Aldane, but someone who like looks like they're open for conversation, and ask them, so when was the last time you saw the SAT officers?
So the most affable and approachable looking person that you can see among their group actually looks like the woman that is currently sitting aback the Triceratops.
Okay.
This woman is what looks like I would probably describe it as Latinx.
Okay.
Has her hair also shaved on the sides and pulled into a tight ponytail. She is almost topless with tattoos covering a vast majority of her body to the point where it looks like it's that thick, like padded, almost like mud style tattoo where it could almost function as like armor in some respects if it was to like take any kind of slashing kind of damage. But she does have what looks like these thick plumid feathers across her waist that cover these thick, I would say these trike-skinned looking leather leggings that she's wearing along with the boots. Judging from the ritual scarification across her shoulders and whatnot, she's probably one of the higher ranking people here in this group. But she seems quite friendly, having pulled Tego up onto the back of her trike and is now casting her head back and talking to Tego, saying, well, we took them down no problem, really. Sati don't really expect a bunch of people to come charging out of the bushes with dinosaurs shooting at them. They should, though. There's plenty of people that hate them, me being one of them. How old is your raptor? It's a Utah raptor? I don't actually identify dinosaurs too well, but I'm pretty good at talking to them. Isn't that right? And she rubs her hands all over this trike, who doesn't seem to even notice, as it's just kind of... And then she casts her head back at you, Tego, and says, stupid animal, but I love her. I love her so much.
You realize Tego had like very much kind of like zoned out because he's still just looking at Steenie until it takes him like a full beat to realize she's talking to him, and he goes, "Oh, she's a Dakota Raptor. Name is Steenie."
Steenie, Dakota Raptor Steenie. We just all call them raptors, big, small. There are some in the butterflies that take exception to that, but I'm not one of them. I just need to know if it can kill me or not.
Oh yeah,
Steenie looks like she could kill me.
Yeah.
You could kill me, couldn't you? And she reaches out and starts rubbing Steenie's snout and says, "You're just a big, angry predator, aren't you?"
You get Steenie feels the new touch, and you get like the like when the out breath and the just lip wiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so cute. And she just like rubs Steenie's snout a little bit. So, in other words, River, it's pretty clear who the most approachable of the butterflies.
Yeah.
Everyone here looks quite grim. This woman looks like she loves her life.
It's just like the shotgun very quietly is angling at the small of her back, like, yeah, no, great.
Tego is River's favorite. It's like, oh, there we go. Yes.
River, you approach. What are you going to ask her?
So I saw this like Sati like glove hand, and I just want to.
They missed a piece. She says with an evil grin.
Oh, she answers my question immediately. Do they give you trouble often out here?
Not this far east or west, right? No, west.
So this is new, isn't it? We ran into some as well, and it was our first time. We thought our home was safe for a while, and it seems that they are encroaching upon it. And so that's why we're out here.
Sati is encroaching upon your home this far west? That's unusual.
I mean, yes. Which is, I mean, it is. I'm sorry, repeat that?
Did you piss them off?
I think it's more our existence pisses them off, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. That's us. And she throws her hands open to everybody who's around her. Again, everyone's very grim-faced and kind of staring at you all suspiciously. Aldane hasn't even looked back at you all. She is leading you deeper into the bush. But this woman turns and looks back at you and says, well, that automatically makes you my friend, I think. I'm Violet.
Less of an enemy is what I would call it. But
can I please call you less of an enemy as your name?
You know what? I prefer that. River is my chosen name as well, so I'm all about chosen names.
Well, less of an enemy, L-E, I'll call you River Lee.
River Lee. It's nice. What's your name?
Violet.
Violet. Pretty name.
Thank you. I chose it. It's my favorite color.
Is it? Do we see a lot of violet out here? I don't think so.
In plumage, you see it in feathers from time to time, and you certainly see some of those colorings on the plumage that's around the sort of the crowned area of Breg, this large bioengineered theropod. But for the most part, you don't see it on this trike. This trike has mostly of the areas where you do see that mottled part of the skin. The trike isn't exuding that many feathers, which isn't unusual for a trike. But you do see that she has violet feathers around her belt. These large, long feathers.
They're pretty. River looks at them and says, "Pretty." And then she looks back up at her. With Sati.
She leans in and says, "You're not too bad yourself."
Oh God, this is flirting. What does River do with flirting? I think that, how does River react to flirting? It's almost like when you, I think that like River is so much in like mom mode over 9 that I think he's flirted in like a while.
So it kind of hits you. You're like, yeah, wait, what? Like,
yeah. Thank you is all she can say.
You're welcome, River Lee.
River Lee. I could get used to that. When she's trying to like reorient herself, she's like, I was having an actual conversation and I was on a conversation path. But now she kind of just like looks around for a second and kind of like shakes it off and is like, Sati, we're talking about Sati right now. That's what my question is about. That's what my next question is about. And she tries to grab hold of herself and says, when they approach, do you just get rid of them and then move away, or do you stay? I know nothing about the butterflies.
You want to know why we hunted them down?
Not why you hunted them down. It's just that I don't want to move my home because of Sati. And I need to know if it's going to be just a constant situation where they will just keep coming and we will just have to keep taking them out every time they do, or whether the only solution is to move. I need to make a decision.
Well, as powerful as they are, Sati does not have unlimited resources. And if it becomes too expensive in human power and dino power to keep sending people out and losing precious technologies, they might surrender unless what you have or wherever your home is particularly important to them. The person to ask, though, is her, and points the top of Breg. As you see, Aldane is just swaying back and forth as this huge animal is stomping through, all 14 tons of the theropod moving through the trees.
Well, she's a little out of my reach for right now, so I thought I would ask you. Besides, you have such a friendly smile.
Friendly, but I'm not former Sati like she is.
Thank you for your help so far, though.
Hey, you're welcome. I'm so sorry this happened. We haven't seen skags in this area for a while now, have we? And goes back to gently caressing the snout of Steenie. But now this raptor knows what they look like, don't you? Now you're going to eat them, aren't you? Yes. Just gently strokes the snout. Yes.
A small purr growl.
Yummy. Yes. Continues to pet Steenie's face. You're watching this woman just love on your companion, Tego. She seems so comfortable running her hands very close to the row of lethal teeth that is on the end of Steenie's snout.
Believe it or not, that actually makes Tego comfortable because it's making me feel she is not going to hurt Steenie. These others still might, but at least this one's.
Yeah.
This is watching Appa lick Zuko, and you're like, oh,
right.
Yes, it's okay.
No, but the gun is still like click, click. She's high right now, you know? Like, I mean, I can't count on personal assessment skills. Although I will just say, as an aside, I have a question about Nines and the mechanics. His ability to detect temporal disturbances, is that something that he has to be told to do consciously, or he's good question. Or he just like can like smell them like a truffle pig?
So I think I would actually want to leave that to you guys. Okay. Between you and Rave, how would you see that?
I see like a truffle pig. I do. I think that Nine is kind of incompetent, that he just kind of like stumbles onto these things. So it's less of it's almost like a passive perception is how I'm playing it as.
Okay.
But
it was
in that case.
I say both practically and meta. It makes sense that he just sort of like stumbles across things, and because that's just his life. Yeah. And also on a meta level, it makes sense because it'll stop us from always being like, I look for time anomalies. I look for time anomalies. I look for time anomalies.
I was going to say, if you want, what I'll do is empower you to, if at any point you want to, it's the same as searching for ciphers. If at any point you want to search for a time anomaly, because remember, time anomalies are how you gain ciphers. And in Cypher system, you are presented with the opportunity to gain ciphers whenever you want to search for them. It's intrinsic to the game to help power your character. So if at any point you want to try to sniff out a time anomaly, B-Dave, you just tell me if Nine is sticking their head in the air and sniffing around.
I did just read. It's an enabler ability for Nines, and as an action, if she's looking, he can assist. So yeah.
Oh, excellent. So anytime River wants to go looking for ciphers, that's when Truffle Pig goes, "Hey, what's up?"
And you also have a passive always on.
Yeah, love it. Well, right now I think River does want to check in on Nine, because I think also, Tego almost lost their child, and so like I think that she wants to be close to her own, and so she is going to go check in on Nine and basically do like a how you doing, but also like how's this area looking to you.
One of the things I'm gonna give you this. One of the things but as you look over at Nine is I'm going to say that you do see, because it's usually pretty hard to keep track of her, but I will say that you do see Clever on top of Nine, scratching at the bone plates, like Clever's trying to figure out how to dig into this and can't like
like that border collie that rides the horse.
Yes. Very similar.
You have this is Clever's thinking. It's Clever's like, there are knives on their back. Can I steal them?
Can I bring these to parental unit?
Yeah.
I like the notion though that Clever is specifically up by the shoulder blades, like Echo and Haldane.
Yeah.
These are the mirrors. It's like
right, and especially because Echo and Goose are now her new enemies because her human like hates them now. She's like, "Oh, okay, fine. I will find my own. Like, we will be a better team."
Oh, I thought it was more like, "Look at me," so like making fun of like.
Clever's a Bambi Raptor. She's got layers to the ways that she's throwing shade.
Clever just reminds me of all the dinos in this group. Clever is the most independent and the one that seems to be just like orbiting the group at all times, checking in with parental unit and then going back to trying to please parental unit by being as Bambi Raptor as possible.
And it makes sense because we have only known each other for like a week and a half. This is very much a new thing.
Yeah.
So, of course, Clever's like kind of more outdoor cat about it all. And Penny's like a little more chill. It's like, you are doing Clever things. I should give you a knife to protect you. No, I should not. You're a dinosaur.
Already got
And
knives,
also,
yeah.
you've already got one.
Right, yeah, right.
She didn't think she needs them. She wouldn't keep stealing them.
Right. One has nothing to do with the other. All right. Yeah. I feel like Nines is also delightfully oblivious to all of this because it's been about a busy hour. You know, they got in a fight with Steenie, won a race with Steenie. Steenie almost got killed. And there were some mean people, but you know, here we are now. And just like it's like
It's all happening very fast.
on the river of life for Nine.
So we all sing. I love the idea that we're all seeing this big dopey and Kyla sword just kind of trudging through. But like zoom in on Nine's head and you hear, "Life is so strange." So we were traversing the terrain, looking for these enemies of my people, and now we find ourselves amongst frenemies. How odd that we change direction. How strange life. Ooh, grass.
We always thought it was a velociraptor. Indeed.
Oh my God.
There it is.
Everyone
There it
takes
is.
10 points of intellect damage.
Yep.
Mark it on your sheet. Steenie's heart just stops and just falls over. The damage radiates out as the pun kills everyone in the party.
So we will die as we've lived. Yep.
So the journey, as y'all continue to move forward, what you discover based off of where you're heading closer to the foothills of the mountain ranges that are deep into the, actually to you guys, it would be north because y'all are kind of headed north of the river. You're actually headed north of the Chalk Road right now. And it doesn't seem to be going anywhere in particular. And that's confirmed when after about 3 miles of journey, you come to what looks like a makeshift camp that's been very well masked. People start removing foliage and large leaves. You see them chasing off other little small dinosaurs that have gathered in the area searching for food. And as the area gets cleared out and some of these dinosaurs move in, you see they start immediately erecting shelters that they had constructed and laid out and hidden. Now just popping up like, you know, those easy to make tents where you just kind of click a button and just kind of popping up. You see it's quite clever, the mechanical genius of the butterflies in play here as they're erecting these shelters that can be moved at any point. Filtering into the area, some of them begin to dismount immediately. Violet looks back at you, Tego, and just says, "And we're here. Let's get this baby all fixed up. We're going to get you nice and healed."
Yeah. He's like, all right.
She gracefully swings her leg over the side of the trike, catching her ankle on one of the bone tooth platelets that are above its like plate shield, and takes a face first fall right into the deep grass, and immediately just picks herself up and goes, "Ah!" She looks up at Tego and says, "Don't forget to stretch when you sit on the back of your dinos." And then a beat of like dry humor. And then she turns and starts unclasping the rope that was securing Steenie to the back of the trike. A few moments later, you see, as Violet's doing this, Aldane approaches you with 2 guards to her, flanking her, and says, "My companions here are going to get your dinosaur healed, but I need the rest of you to come with me."
No disrespect, ma'am, but
You can stay with your animal. I understand.
Okay, let's go.
I think River's gonna like give a look to Tego and is like, "Do you want me to stay here with you? Because I will stay here with you if you need me to." Or
you just like very much like nod, like go.
yeah, I don't think we talk at all. I think it's just
Yeah,
like nods and looks. It's like I'm gonna okay, and so River's gonna follow them.
That's most of us.
You see the life of a camp that's being erected around all of you. People are sort of like letting their hair down a little bit, kind of relaxing. You see someone cheering and getting cheered by a group of their friends as he pulls out this bone knife. And at the end of the knife, he's going, "Hey," like holding it up. And you see what looks like to us modern eyes would be a dragonfly that's probably the length of my forearm, just impaled on a knife. And everyone's cheering as he immediately starts pulling the wings off of it. And carrying it over to where you see people are setting up an area to start cooking. As the lot of you are congregating around Aldane, you move into what looks like a structure that has been erected just to cover as you sleep. So it's not like fully enclosed. It's like sort of a ramp that's been covered in foliage and whatnot on these really solid wooden beams that have been pulled up. Underneath, you can see a few of the butterflies are already starting to scatter and make the area livable for the queen. She waves them off immediately and says, I can do this. Go, 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 go. And they scatter as she steps in, kicks some of the dirt aside to make a bit of a smooth patch and says, take a seat. As she starts assembling some stones where they are bringing kindling and whatnot. Camp is being erected at incredible speed. Obviously, this is how they live. And Echo, you remember this.
Yeah.
The nomadic lifestyle of the butterflies means they are experts at finding good camping sites and putting up spots where everyone can bunker down. What's up, River? I'm sorry. What's up, Penny?
Goose question, actually. Because Goose has been here before. And so, you set up behavior exploitation location by location.
Sure.
One, where is my mortal enemy? Because I would like to be far. And two, what last time was the deal with where big, scary, fierce, dominant dinosaurs were in this encampment?
So, Breg's disposition has always been that of the apex predator that doesn't feel a need to prove itself.
Yeah, usually I
kind of behaves in that way. Again, a kitten and a mancoon. It kind of behaves in that it tolerates everything around it because it doesn't feel threatened. And Breg is currently about 60 feet away from the campsite of where Aldane is starting to bed down. Breg's curiosity seems to be pointed up at the trees right now as this dino has kind of curled its tail a little bit and angled its body up as it seems to be staring up into the trees at something. But for the most part, it's underlying the fact that Breg is kind of off doing his own thing, not really paying too much attention. I will point out that Goose, since you were a part of the butterflies long before you were bunkered down and not moving anymore in Silvercreek, this is much more accommodating to who you are as a dinosaur.
I get to stay near my hunter who is threatened by this terrible creature.
Of the predatorial dinosaurs in this camp, it's you and Breg. Most of the other dinosaurs in here are Clever's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
I understand steamy sick, but excuse me. Fearsome.
I will crawl into your brain, okay? It's
How
Halloween.
many pistols does Breg have?
So there are no large theropods of that kind of stripe.
So Goose can be nearby where Echo is right now, and the butterflies aren't blinking, and the enemy isn't blinking. Understood. Then Goose will be nearby. I was just trying to understand where they were in this scene.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pretty organized. I will say the disposition of the trikes matches Nines perfectly. And even though trikes behave towards the ankylosaurs usually like the way rhinos would react to, say, like a buffalo getting too close, which is to say not friendly, they both seem to have the same chill disposition. And the ankylosaur and the trikes are in vicinity of each other without any problems at all. Unless that who is playing Nine would like to make mischief.
Start something.
I think that honestly, like, there might be trouble, but the reason there's not is because I think that, like, River keeps tapping Nine's shoulder every now and then just to be like, I want you to know that I'm watching you.
Okay, so
I will just say
to inform your creative path here, B Dave.
Yeah.
Because this is gonna feed whatever you're about to say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna ask you, Rave, to make a roll.
Okay,
Difficulty is 3.
Because I have thoughts.
11.
So he understands, he does, but here's the thing. This sweet boy is not dumb, he's clumsy.
Yeah.
So mom's like, don't do anything. And he's like, no, I got it. And turns to look at something and his tail super's gonna like cream something important.
Okay. As the conversation begins in camp, River, with your knee pulled up and sitting across from this woman who you know is probably former Sati, especially now that you've had that conversation with Violet, you're about to ask your first question when there is a a groan from a triceratops that has that bass that kind of rattles your bones a little bit. It's like, if you can imagine what it might be like if you were underwater and a whale started singing next to you. It's that same big animal reverberation of bass where you hear this trike just, and instinctively, River, you just know, without looking back over your shoulder, you just know. And you hear a bunch of butterflies containing the situation and calming down a trike who just got clubbed by a very dangerous tail. And looking back, to give you the last picture of the scene, looking back, what you see is 9 oblivious eating grass and waving this tail around with a trike that is kind of dipping its head and blasting hot breath out of these massive nostrils, as it seems to be like behaving the way an angry bull or a rhino might behave if it's getting ready to charge. This angry trike is obviously challenging 9, and 9 has no fucking clue. 9's ass is presented to the trike as 9 is enjoying this luscious dewdrop tall green grass. Just fantastic. I mean, you don't get this kind of stuff
out here in the jungle. Yeah, no, this is top shelf.
And the butterflies are waving their animal down and containing the situation.
Oh, great. Does it look like it's working?
Yes.
Look like they are actually.
Yes, it looks like it's working. I won't GM intrusion you here.
Okay,
We're kind of grinding the story to a halt. You open your mouth and a trike smashes into all of you. And then you want to roll up new characters.
Mom said, "Don't stay put and don't do anything," and that is what I'm doing. It's just right here.
Yeah,
I'm doing good.
9, as far as you're concerned, this is the best behaved you've been all day. There's been no problems. You haven't eaten shit. You haven't dipped forward and collapsed into the ground. You haven't pissed off Steenie, who is sleeping a lot for some reason. But hey, whatever. You're the one that's on guard right now. You're doing good. There's going to be a reward. There's going to be a reward for this later.
Yeah, she tuckered herself
behind you. You know what? It's not important.
She tuckered herself out, losing that race to me. Goose is acting weird about something. I'll keep an eye on things. Everything's gonna be fine. Yeah.
Oh my god. Okay, so you see Rivers had snapped to the situation, and she is everything okay? She calls out to the butterflies, trying to.
The lack of response would indicate that they are a little focused on trying to contain the situation. And so the answer you get is the trike taking a few steps back. And at first it's because you and Penny in particular are really good at reading the body language of dinosaurs, it looks like the trike is stuck somewhere between charge and kill and okay. And the butterflies continue waving their hands and cooing at this dinosaur enough to the point where the animal angles to the left, indicating that it's changed its mind. You just see it kind of calm itself.
Is there anything that would make me think that this Triceratops is also genetically engineered?
No, this looks like and it's worth noting, this does not look like one of the trikes that the Sati had. Okay. And it does not look like it has been engineered in any way.
Okay, got it. Yeah. So she's kind of it's one of those things where she's sitting next to someone, but she's looking at something else entirely different. But she's still trying to be part of this conversation. Are Penny and Echo next to her as well, or is it?
I'm assuming so, unless y'all are somewhere else.
Penny is there. Echo was part of this. Goose is next to and curled around Echo, feigning sleep, because sleeping when there's a predator nearby is a flex, and Goose is going to just do that. They're very relaxed. Shut up.
Yeah.
So I think River was about to speak, but is not now because she's watching her.
Okay.
We're about to campfire, right?
Yeah, she's preparing a campfire right in front of all of you.
Echo's in arm's distance of Goose, but has strategically placed herself on her friend's side of the fireplace and has not gone to go sit near Aldane. Has stayed with the 3 unit, the two of you. And just so you know where her placing is.
Okay. I'm also gonna say that River is watching, obviously 9, but wants to just let the two of you know about just the Sati glove that she saw, just the missing hand. On the
How are you going to subtly tell them this?
does it look like there's no one else near shot?
I mean, there's obviously
Aldane's like right there doing a fire, right?
Yeah, Aldane's about maybe 5 feet in front of you.
Literally 5 feet. Ding.
Yeah, literally 5 feet.
Can I text him? No.
Like, are they in the Facebook chat right now? Can we?
You could kind of flash it from under like a coat or something.
That's a weird. Let me just show you my dead hand.
Yeah, I thought you said it was a glove.
For clarification, just to clarify, did you?
I don't think I picked it up. That's also part of the situation.
Oh,
okay.
I just remembered it, but I just love that was your solution. Just show me the dead hand. Like, no.
I thought it was just a glove. You said I laid the glove in front of you. I was like, oh, okay. So it's just a glove. I didn't know there was a hand in it.
So my situation is that it's a decapitated hand with a Sati glove on it.
Amputated, yeah. But what I'd like to point out is that this is a very rave thing to do. I pulled a severed hand out and handed it to Gina.
I would
give the woman a hand.
I just want you to know, like, that would be on brand for me, but like canonically, I didn't take the hand, so we could go walk back to the hand together, and I could hand you the hand, but that would be on brand.
Okay.
For me. But no, I think that she does not with Aldane right there. In fact, I think that she's almost gonna let Echo lead this one because Echo seems to know these people. And I think that River is extremely on guard, but she's not going to attack per se, and kind of see how Echo handles these people before she handles them herself.
Yeah,
okay.
Let's see how Echo handles these people.
Okay, so Penny's going to do the same.
Yeah.
All right. The fire starts, and Aldane doesn't say anything to start the conversation off. But you see her remove a pack to her side and open it up, and immediately the scent of spiced meats. As she pops it open and says, "Enjoy this while you can. I have a feeling your raptor would be trying to get a share of this if she was capable of moving right now." And she pulls out a few what looks like dried fish that have been spiced. Starts laying it out. Kicking the plate.
Echo just says, knowing Steenie, her nose would definitely be all over that in a moment.
We've been tracking scavs in your area now.
That's unfortunate.
Have you run into any yourself?
There's a reason Steenie's asleep right now.
Yes, we saw the one that you managed to kill. It's interesting that Sati and scavs have started to pervade the area in the past few weeks.
Have you gotten to speak to any of the scavs? Do they say why they're...
They don't like to speak very much, as you know. They're more interested in skinning, taking.
Maybe their resources are running dry wherever they're coming from.
She nods like you've touched on something and says, "It's true that whenever Sati or anyone sends scouting parties into the wilds, that scavs, if they can sniff that out, will start to follow. There's opportunity there. And they, of course, love to stalk the chalk road when trade is becoming heavy. But storm seasons have begun. It's becoming more and more dangerous to travel. I'm just surprised to see so many scavs moving, even in the wilds right now." And she gives you a look, a discerning look, almost like she's trying to ascertain if you know anything about that. It's that eye that she glances up and looks at you, like she's definitely not hiding the fact that she's
interrogating.
Yes.
She's like, Sati, this is pretty...
Yeah, not hiding it at all. She just stares at you for a moment and says,
"That's the first scav we've seen."
"It's not just scavs. We've come across a few silverbacks as well."
Really?
some lore dump here for the players who don't know what silverbacks are. Silverbacks are skags taken to the next level. Scavs are very much like the heartless, marauding, coming to take your stuff and kill you and everything you love if it means they can get what they want. Silverbacks are a totally different breed. Silverbacks are a little bit closer in their behavior to, say, reavers. Silverbacks are people that try to emulate dinosaurs themselves, and sometimes this means they genetically enhance themselves or they genetically alter themselves. They surgically alter themselves. They will take on cybernetic implants to give themselves claws. They will sharpen their teeth. They will roam in dinosaur packs with raptors and hunt like them. They are what happens when you take that mixture of sci-fi and primal rage that you are known to see here in the world of predation, and you turn that into a human being that is trying to emulate and believe that they are actually a predatorial animal. Silverbacks are very dangerous and completely unreasonable. You cannot speak to them. It's rare that they even formulate words.
Echo wants to make it very clear because she knows she's being, this is an investigation. There's some information gathering. This is sort of how conversations go with Aldane. So it does an immediately submissive hand gesture, as in I have no idea what that could even possibly mean. There are groups of silverbacks in the area. Are you kidding me? That's so close to towns.
What are you going to say, Penny?
Yeah.
Penny lives in the wilderness. They do a lot of rangings. Have I seen, now that someone's put that prompt into my head, does it make anything that would probably have been very obvious to the camera but wasn't obvious to Penny click? In my past few months, have I seen anything consistent with more scavs or with any silverbacks in the broader
Silverbacks
Silvercreek?
is new. That's
the Silvercreek County.
So silverbacks are new. That's new information. Silverbacks are also very rare. So it's really unusual to see them. I mean, obviously, as a splicing of technology and genetic engineering, they're going to be rarer than most. Scavs have kind of been, it's hard to predict scavs because they're not necessarily an organized unit. They will form into packs from time to time. It's rare to see one by itself, the way you found with Steenie. But in your ranging, both you and River have not come across that many scavs in the past few months. Then again, Penny, Aldane may have touched on something. If Sati has wandered far away from Kaleno City and is moving this far east, it might attract the attention of people who spot their tech and want it. Again, emphasizing that it's dangerous for Sati to be wandering out this far. A scouting party sent out this far, it just gives you the shudders because it underlines the fact that they know Silvercreek is out there and they're looking for it.
It must be worth it.
At that moment, as you're thinking about this really hard, Penny, and you kind of do your supplication, Echo saying, I have no idea what this is about. She looks at you for a second, then glances at River, then glances at you, Penny, and then back to you. And she reaches into a satchel and you see her pull out a data pad. Unusual enough to see in the hands of somebody from the butterflies. And she flips it around and says, "What's Silvercreek?" And she points at this data pad where you see, it looks like the blueprint to a silo, a bunker. And above it, you see, in parentheses, it says Silvercreek. Underneath it, it says Sati Research Bunker 000E. And at that particular moment, the landscape completely changes. And all three of you realize
this is what I've been afraid of.
This has become a whole new situation. That's where we're going to pause for our break. So we'll be back in 10 minutes. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you in just a moment. Welcome back to the Cretaceous period, everyone. And also, because I didn't say it at the top, because I was just so excited to see my friends, happy Halloween. Before we jump back into the game, what is your favorite cartoon Halloween special?
Ooh.
That's tough, right? I'm going to go ahead and say Garfield.
Ernest Scared Stupid. It's not a cartoon, but still, yeah.
Right.
When he goes into his multiple
action
personality thing that he does, that's my favorite moment in the whole thing, because he was such a brilliant character actor.
Eartha Kitt's incredible in it too.
Yep.
What's that?
Eartha Kitt is also incredible in them.
Yes, Eartha Kitt is incredible in everything she does. Yeah, that was the first time I, as a kid, ever saw Eartha Kitt.
The only Halloween cartoon special I can think of is The Great Pumpkin, but
that's a good one. Classic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but proximate question. Addams Family or Hocus Pocus?
Ooh.
Ernest Scared Stupid over Hocus Pocus. I tweeted it and I meant it.
Honestly, for me, it's going to be Addams Family, just because their sequel, they did the thing that Nightmare Before Christmas did, which is they started with Halloween and it kind of segued into another holiday. So it's become like a seasonal favorite for me. Although I do love Hocus Pocus. I had a huge crush on Sarah Jessica Parker in that movie.
Same.
Because we're humans with red blood, Sam. That's what it is.
I definitely am.
I'm also partial to Practical Magic specifically.
Practical Magic's a fun movie. That's a fun movie. I love when she starts giving the explanation as to why his badge was able to stave off that evil spirit.
All of it.
So cool.
You're
and of course, you put the lime in the coconut. In case anyone is confused, you put the lime in the coconut.
Then what?
Oh.
I mean,
you gotta shake it.
I mean, then you feel better.
Is that it?
Yeah.
That's definitely it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go back to Cretaceous.
You also do have to call the doctor to wake him up.
Shit, that's right. That's what you have to do.
Important thing.
Yes.
Vote Tuesday. The battle of our time is upon us. Your country.
Is something happening Tuesday?
Vote.
I said this in the Stream Punks Discord, and I'm going to say it again. Voting is hope punk as fuck. And it is absolutely at the core of who we are. We encourage everybody. We know anxiety and depression, particularly now, are definitely telling you not to leave the house, not to put in that ballot in the mail. We get it, and it's hard. So spend that momentum, burn those story points, use a player intrusion, do what you do.
Save a Stream Punk's life.
As I said in the Discord, make your voices heard from Narendra to Raft City, and vote.
The beacons are lit. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. Do it for the Baron. Do it for the Baron of the Valley, if nothing else, right?
If nothing else.
Don't
I would say don't make me dominate you, but pending Mr. Into, do make me dominate you as long as you vote. Yeah. Hey, safety, whatever. You know?
Can you hear the sound of clips?
It's
clipping the screams of Stream Punk friends.
I said what I said, internet. I said what I said. Now, I love how red you are, Eric. You're the color same here.
I love it.
Yep.
I love it. All right. Let's go ahead and
procrastinating difficult questions. Have fun, Echo.
Damn
it. We're picking up where we left off, where a mic drop in front of Echo has kind of left a bit of a stunned silence among the three that have been sitting here, among Aldane, who again, as I mentioned before we went live, Cypher System, because of the way Cypher System works, it does not hide the challenge or the difficulty of who you are talking to or interacting with, because you have to know what target numbers you need to hit. So all the time, NPC difficulty and power is revealed to players, and it's not a big deal at all. It helps players manage and get down a sense of who it is that they're dealing with. So I would just want to go ahead and is to let everybody know the scope of you're talking to, in Predation terms, if this was an MMO, you'd be talking to a world boss right now. Aldane is a level 8 NPC. And it is incredibly difficult especially for you, Echo, to lie to her.
I am like Penny. I don't have social.
Right, exactly. To make matters worse.
Hey,
and she
I'm
is
incredibly charming and delightful.
You are. You also don't dump into intellect.
that is
You
also
just
true.
said this.
Yeah. Just because it's true doesn't mean you say it.
So
Just because it's true doesn't mean you say it.
As Aldane is holding up this data pad, it has the technical readouts of that holographic projection of the Sati site that the Sati scout party was looking for. And it's sort of that bracing moment where you're like, oh, I was hoping she wasn't going to do that. And sure enough, she's holding it up and looking at you expectantly.
Yeah. Okay. So quick lore check on our history.
Yeah.
Some of these members do know where I came from. So is this a question where she's genuinely asking me, or is this a question where she's telling me?
It looks like with the context, the fact that she knows where you have been living this whole time.
Yeah.
The butterflies are aware where you fled to.
Yeah.
And it would
fled back to.
It would imply that they have known about this place for some time.
Yeah.
In that context.
So she's not asking for where my village is. She's asking what Silvercreek is.
What the hell is
bunker.
Silvercreek? Yes.
Okay.
Because if they want it so bad, what is this? Like, as she's holding it up, she has always known the location of where you have been settled.
Then I just stick to my guns and I say, our home.
The look on her face would suggest she is waiting for more as she holds that pad up and stares at you. The intensity of her gaze, those dark eyes as she stares at you. And she waits.
Silvercreek is our home.
She angrily slams the data pad into the dust.
I don't react.
At you. What's that?
I don't react. This is the dinosaur instinct of us. Like, okay, we're challenging. This is that beat.
Okay.
So.
You can see the tension, the clench in her jaw, even underneath the paint on the side of her face, as she stares at you. Penny River. The fury in her eyes, as you can tell, she is an angry family member staring down somebody who has pissed her off.
Echo doesn't stand up, but just leans forward, and Silvercreek will destroy any Sati member who tries to come near our village.
And what about butterflies?
You have no business there.
Do we or don't we? Why won't you answer? And she holds up the data pad again. What is it? This says it's a Sati bunker.
Not anymore. Now it is a home.
Why do they think it's a Sati bunker then?
Why do they think anything? Everything belongs to them according to them. It doesn't matter, and they won't get it.
It's not good enough. They think there's something important there.
They're dead.
Not all of them.
They'll send another scout. Looking for this one. We'll get them. You'll get them. Scabs will get them. Silverbacks will get them. There's always chaos out here.
This isn't about Sati now.
Why not?
What is this? And she holds it up again. And with the context of what she's leaning into, you hear in her voice, Echo, this is a butterfly asking what the Sati bunker is. And you can hear that edge in her tone suggesting she wants to know, is this something she needs to know about as a butterfly? You know where this is going immediately. You can see what she's leaning into. She's holding it up and staring at you.
Echo knows she kind of can't win this. This isn't a winning thing. But she also knows that Okay, I'm going to appeal to her this way. Echo softens. Like she had a sort of stern face, that accepting the challenge and meeting the challenge, and tries to look like herself again. And says, I know what you're asking, and I know what the butterflies do, and what you want. But I am telling you, we don't know. It is just a home.
Make an insight check. This is being intellect to see how she's reacting to this. And River, you and Penny can do so as well, because you both are watching in silence.
And
is that a nat 20?
Oh, great. And when I say home, I'm gonna put my hand on Goose's like just fingernail, the claw. Just okay. I'm trying to basically. Even Aldane breaks Butterfly's rules. Like Bragg's existence breaks Butterfly's rules. Me being alive breaks Butterfly's rules. So like I'm trying to appeal to her as that. I am the fact that you feel anything for me right now is please. This is a sort of begging. There is a little bit of begging in Echo's eyes.
Okay.
I super don't get insight. I have no idea what's going on with Aldane.
Okay.
I have a 17 on the die. Like, it's not mathematically possible that I should beat the check.
Yeah.
I couldn't add anything in, even with like specialties and effort. I don't think I could get there, but 17 on the dice.
Yeah, because you would. So to Rave, to help you understand what Sam is talking about here, even though you rolled a nat 20, you needed to beat a 24 to actually read what she's doing. However, I dropped that difficulty because she's not actually trying to hide her state. She's actually trying to use her presence to get you to understand her position, which means a 17 and a nat 20 are going to do it. The context in which you know her, Echo, means that you've got all kinds of thoughts going through your head and you're not sure what she's going to do or what she's feeling. But Penny, you and River start to feel like you've wandered too close to the mouth of the crocodile. You definitely get that there is a relationship between Echo and Aldane, and it probably runs deep. You get the sense that there is a familiar relationship here, because as mighty as this woman is, it seems like Echo's presence and Echo's engagement of her, she is not. Let me put it this way: everyone around Aldane exudes deference. Do you know what I mean? Everyone shows deference and respect to the Queen of Butterflies. But Echo is talking to her like they've known each other. And it seems like Aldane's letting Echo have that conversation and is responding to it as an equal in that regard. It's familial. There's clearly a relationship here. And it's probably the one thing that's keeping Aldane from losing her temper outright. Because right now, she is fuming. The insight that you both get is that currently Aldane is in a moment of conflict. And you can tell there's a part of her that wants to find Silvercreek and burn it to the ground. Conflicted with a part of her that loves Echo. And it's putting her in a fury. She's clenching her jaw and staring at Echo across the growing fire. And says nothing, does nothing, except for slides the data pad contemptuously back into the sack and withdraws some of the meats and starts handing them out. And after a moment says, one way or the other. One way or the other. Whatever secret is hidden in the place where you live, it's going to become known. If it's not the butterflies, it'll be Sati. You're going to have to choose. She hands you a strip of dried fish.
And what if I say I choose us?
I will respect that.
I gesture my head at the two of you, Penny and River. Silvercreek doesn't belong to either of you. Not Sati, not the butterflies. It's ours. And whatever secrets it may hold are ours.
She tears a piece of meat off and listens to you intently as she continues to chew.
The families who built, the families who fight, the families who raise, doctors, scientists, friends. They're ours.
Let me ask you something. What gives you the right?
What gives anyone the right here?
Power. The ability to take it. If Sati can take Silvercreek from you, then it's theirs. If I could take Silvercreek from you, it is mine.
But you won't.
You see her eyes flare as you hit the button. You touch on that sentiment and you kind of turn it against her. I've never heard of Sati Bunker 000E. This was never in the registry. Sati has a registry of all the bunkers that they were able to recover after the last commute. This one is not among them. I know.
They didn't recover it. Power takes many forms, Aldane, and it isn't always force. Sometimes it's waiting and striking at the right moment.
You know our position, Echo.
I do.
No evidence of humankind's presence must be left in the Cretaceous period. And when the KT event happens, we must turn to ash with the rest of the life that lives on this world to protect our future. We cannot risk leaving technology behind. We cannot risk leaving any evidence of this failed experiment. It is our responsibility to protect what we have left, to give the future that we know a chance.
Aldane, it is my responsibility to protect what we have left.
What you have left is on borrowed time. You know as well as everyone else that doom is coming for all of us. There is a
doom
rock.
will take us, Aldane. Let it take us.
And
It's
then what
coming
happens?
without your help or not.
Echo, what happens in 175 million years when humans begin to dig up the remains of your Sati bunker?
Maybe they already did, Aldane. Maybe that's why we're all here.
No.
They just didn't tell you. Don't be so arrogant to think that we know everything.
This is what the butterflies stand for. You know that better than anyone here.
And I know that you don't always follow that.
She rises and looks down at you and says, "For tonight, you and your friends are safe. We will help Steenie recover. You should be good enough to travel in the morning."
Thank you
Don't
for your
think,
aid.
don't thank me, Echo. When you leave this camp this time, as far as I'm concerned, you were never one of us. And abruptly, walks past you, leaving you to the crackling sounds of the fires and the sounds of your companion sitting next to you.
That whole conversation, River's hand was going closer and closer to her rifle, and now that Eldane is walking away, the rifle is out, and she is.
You can feel the tension drop, but the heart, like the intensity.
No. I think that she is fully focused on the fact that, like, Eldane would burn Silvercreek to the ground, and she's trying to, like, weigh how much Echo cares about this person and whether that means more to her than, like, the security of Silvercreek. So she turns to Echo. Are you okay?
Yeah. She's always been stubborn.
Should I be worried for Silvercreek, Echo?
Yeah.
Echo just sort of shakes her head and I think everyone should be worried for Silvercreek now.
Okay.
From everyone.
Hey, do you think she could actually do it? Like, destroy the bunker?
I do not want to give her the chance to try.
Echo looks at Penny and her silence is her answer to you.
I'll give you this bit of lore, Echo. You know that the butterflies will employ technology to destroy technology.
Yeah.
And yeah, they could probably decimate that bunker.
100%. That is my silence is the yes.
Yeah. That sort of
would and can.
Yeah.
Right. It's the can versus a bunker that we can't crack. That's kind of the quest. Like,
I think it's
about our bunker and how
we've only tried to open it, not destroy it.
Right, but I mean, like, thermite is a thing, or maybe it isn't.
Sure.
I don't know what they have. Anyway,
this is not the first SATI research site. I'm sure that they have destroyed that I know of.
I'm going to enact.
But they also. Intrusion. Oh no! Okay.
Okay, got it. Okay, go
on who?
Believe it or not, and to much your surprise, I'm sure, I'm enacting this on Penny because it's River's fault. Or, I'm sorry, it's Clever's fault.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
I accept with gladness.
You gain 1 XP, and you can hand out 1 XP to wherever you want.
1 XP to B-Day for being a champ. While we're doing all these scenes.
Yeah. As y'all are having this conversation, Echo, you're feeling your heart just feels like it's somewhere in your feet. As you're sitting there trying to get your friends to understand not only what a serious problem this is, but how this is just not fucking fair.
Yeah.
And the effect of this is actually it's Penny, both you and River are aware of the distress that you're seeing in your friend, who as a Karn is almost always focused in the moment and ready to lay the law down if she needs to. It's unusual to see Echo in this state. It's not like
age is showing today.
Right.
She looks like a teenager being talked down to.
And then you feel something cool metallic to your left, Penny.
I don't even want to look.
Oh, shit.
But look, you do.
Yeah.
There's a Bambi raptor that you're very fond of who's cooing at you. Its feathers kind of spreading a little bit of its tail like it's trying to get its plumage to get you notice. One of the reasons why this Bambi raptor is particularly noticeable is every time Clever wants to get your attention, aside from the cooing and like the occasional like different footsteps, just
Tippy tap.
it's the glowing data pad in Clever's mouth. And this look in these big reptilian eyes as Clever is looking at you, holding this data pad that's got this gentle blue glow of like the Silvercreek and the data readouts, everything. It's the data pad that she was holding earlier. And probably the most prized possession of the things that have been swiped from the butterflies, from the Sati research team.
And to be clear, Clever knows she's done a good this time. She's like, oh, I just, like, you don't even know. I was brilliant in getting this for you, so I expect something in return. So she, like, looks at you all proud with it in her mouth, but she's gonna, like, take a few steps back until you give her a treat for it.
Oh, yeah, she's gonna run with it if you don't. We're gonna say, real quick, it's two things. First of all, it's important to note, Penny, that Clever didn't go for the food. Clever went for the data pad. And that's when you realize, as Clever takes a few steps back, that Clever's about to bolt with the data pad in her mouth. You can see her kind of leaning back, doing that thing that dogs do when they want you to chase them. Even if it means in front of, like, you know, traffic or something, you can see that in Clever as she, like, cranes her head back.
I know exactly. Like, I get this. Penny is not a noob, but Penny does not chase Clever. Penny leans back, grabs a bit of that spiced fish, and moves farther away. Now you chase me. Now I am the challenge. I have treat.
Roll.
Yeah.
I auto-pass this check.
Okay, so what the two of you see, there's this sort of hushed, almost like someone's trying to defuse a bomb. There's this hushed kind of gasp that it just kind of makes its way out as everyone now sees what Clever has in their mouth and what's happening. Being able to read the dinosaur body language, you can see Clever be like, "Oh, you want this, don't you? You want no, don't go anywhere with that. No, wait. It's kind of like following the parent." And Clever is kind of trying to play the game that you're playing, Penny, but it's not working because Clever's eyeing that piece of fish. How to play Clever in this scene, Rave?
Yeah.
It's all you.
Oh man, I think that so it starts off with, like, Clever's like, ah, ha, 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 and just like a little evil cackle, and like, oh, and then you hold up that fish, and her eye just like looks at it, and then like looks at you, and for a few seconds it's a little bit of a standoff, like, are you gonna come to me? And she kind of like entices you with the pad once more and realizes you're not moving.
Penny puts their arm out diagonal, like, if you want to parkour up me, there is fish treat at the end of the line for you.
Oh, and I think it's that motion that makes her like, oh, okay. And so she drops the pad in front of your feet and like scrambles up your arm, gives you a little.
And then I hug you up into it and give you the fish, and like, I've never been
all
this
the
physically
scratch
affectionate
marks that are tearing
with Clever in my life. Oh yeah, oh no, like, just absolutely trash. I have blood on me now.
As Clever dashes up.
Like, I'll take a point of might damage or something just from the scritching. I accept that that's part of this, but I need to let Clever know she's the most loved. She is the best creature. I love her so much. She is so good. She is perfect. She is a mischief devil, the likes of which the world has never seen. That Tyrannosaurid over there ain't got nothing on you, sweetie. The best baby.
Is Goose around?
Goose is right behind Echo and has, since the fight with Aldane, just had one eye open.
There's literally
of,
one,
like, I'm not acting. Just so you know, I am awake if you need me to throw down, and like, she is meat. Just say the word and she's meat. But has actually nuzzled ever since Echo softened and like had that and is kind of down. Just nuzzles in. But yes, Clever is all up in my arms and all up in my snuggles and just the best baby, and fish and fish and fish and fish and fish.
At Echo, like, yeah, we're still our enemy, and like, I want a thing. And so I think it's a little bit of trying to rub it in Goose's face. And yeah, I'm the best, is what Clever wants to say.
Yep.
So before we cut away, it's Echo looking down with wide eyes at the data pad that's laying next to you that Clever just dropped on the ground and dashed up. Like, it's just right in front of you. The GM intrusion aspect of this is all kinds of trouble. But
Yeah.
that might also be some answers. So I leave it to you with what you do with it before we move over to Tego, who is on the outskirts of camp. Steenie is laying on her side and is being hand-fed right now. And Violet is acting like there's not even a wound here. Violet's like, good. Ready? Tosses a piece of meat. Good. Oh, no. You're going to get dirt in your mouth here. There you go. Then there you go. And like scooping it in. Violet looks over at you at Tego and says, so you killed the scav that did this?
I had some help, but yes, he is no more.
Do you want a trophy? I can go back and get you a piece of his body.
I just kind of tapped the shotgun.
You see her face darkens a little bit at the sign of the shotgun.
Mm-hmm.
Says, don't let anybody else see that if you want to keep it.
I don't recommend anybody trying to take it from me.
No. Genuine concern comes over her face. Says, I can read people sometimes. Everyone in this camp, Tego, knows probably shouldn't fuck with you. Which is why when they come to take something from you, they're going to make sure that they can do it. Do you understand? Just don't let anyone see it.
Right.
And I do sort of like put it next to Steenie, kind of like if normally I would never do this because she'd roll over on it on purpose. I just sort of like edge it next to her, and I just say,
although it would be a mistake for people to believe that just because I ain't got that weapon, I'm not dangerous.
We know a Karn when we see one.
That being said, y'all are helping me and mine right now and patching up my friends, so ain't no reason to be uncivil.
Uncivil.
More uncivil.
She plops down next to Steenie, and she's eating, and every now and then she tears off a piece and drops it into Steenie's maw, just like near her tongue. And as she's eating, she regards you for a moment and just says, what's your story? You're not like the rest of them.
Neither are you.
No, that's true.
While we're going through this, I'm just making a point of like catching people, looking at people, seeing where they go, like not too over, but like trying to like clock positions, especially if there's any given building I see a number of people going into, because I'm basically like, if some shit goes down, where the fighter's going to come scrambling out of most. Like I realize all these people are tough, but it's you know, oh, that's the garrison, that one, you know, like
and it looks like I mean, one of the things that butterflies are known for is because they don't use technology where they don't have to. They've become mechanical geniuses at setting up traps and becoming aware of their surroundings. Because they're so nomadic, they are some of the best trackers out here in the wilds. You're getting a sense that you are essentially you're getting the feeling like you're surrounded by rangers, as it were.
I would also say, remember, I have the Cypher that will allow me perfect recall of something. So that's part of why I'm looking is like, if it ever becomes relevant that I need to know these people and their capabilities, like I want somewhere in my noodle. So it's sort of like,
if you pop that Cypher, I would totally give you information on the butterflies and what they do and what they're capable of.
Right. So that's just trying to upload it. And while I'm talking to her, I just say,
you might be surprised to hear I don't necessarily disagree with your ethos. I think you're right. I think in the fullness of time, all traces of us should be wiped out. It's just the difference between you and me is I feel that asteroid's going to be more than capable of taking care of it, whether we wanted to or not.
I've heard that before, yeah. And she takes another piece of meat, says, the problem with that is that no one's going to be around to figure out if that was true or not, so why not be thorough, especially when the future's at stake? There's an entire city of 8,000 people living in the middle of Laramedia, settlements all over the place, and people using technology that has no place in the Cretaceous period. So, burn it all down. Better safe.
Like I said, I don't disagree. I just feel like time and tide and flaming death from the skies will be more than capable of handling that.
It's above what I'm aware of. I'm not much of a scientific thinker. But I believe in what the butterflies do.
Yeah. That being said, though, it is a bunch of hypocritical bullshit. Y'all rail against technology and this and that unless it's that superpowered beast your lady commands or weaponry to destroy your foes when convenient. Having somebody that says one thing and goes back on it when it gets difficult ain't hard to find here or anywhere else.
Yeah, we've heard that too. Bragg over there has a history with Aldane. Bragg was one of the many, from what I hear, the theropods that they were doing biogenetic engineering on. There's, she looks for a second and she leans in and says, there's a legend. I don't know if you're familiar with it, but apparently from what Aldane tells us is that many years ago, Sati had a division that was working secretly on trying to discover how to weaponize genetics and dinosaurs in particular. They were experimenting, of course, with cybernetic implants in these animals. Not anything you haven't heard. What you don't know, though, is they succeeded once. Spectacularly. And it's still out there somewhere. And instead of seeing something like that happen again, Bragg and Aldane bonded. Bragg is sterile, cannot mate. So Aldane feels it's safe to keep a companion close, live out the rest of its natural life, and then when Bragg dies, we'll probably do what we normally do when we encounter an animal like him. We'll eat him.
I don't know anything about the world before. I've only ever known this one. But it says a lot about these Sati fucks, that the whole point of coming here is it was pristine and undisturbed, and the first thing they did was start modifying and weaponizing the most lethal beasts God ever created. And I just rub my hand across Steenie's head. And I say, look, I'm not unsympathetic to your lady wanting to save Bragg. It's a magnificent beast, and I understand the connection that can be formed here. Just as long as you understand, when push comes to shove, your lady will fold. And as long as that's true, this is all bullshit.
She doesn't have a response to that. She just gives you this wide, toothy smile, like she's chewing gum as she's eating this meat. And she says, I like you.
I like you too.
She passes you a piece of meat.
I eat it.
All right. Yeah, it's nummy. Nice salted piece of fish.
You asked for my story. You say you got a bit of a read on me, and I feel like it's in pretty large print. I ain't no butterfly. I ain't Sati. I told you I've only lived in this world and I've made it this far and should not be fucked with. With those data points, I think you can extract whatever you need to know.
That's fair. I don't like people prying with me either. But you kind of give away a lot of things. You know that when you threaten people?
Oh.
You told me exactly how much every single one of them means to you and how much Silvercreek means to you. And this is clearly coming from someone who's used to living around people they can't trust, people that more often than not show their true natures. And it requires you to remove them from the land of the living.
I take no joy in it, but that is a fair assessment.
Well, I understand you, Tego, and your assessment of us is correct. The whole thing calling us hypocrites is not exactly accurate, but I don't expect outsiders to fully understand us. That being said, because you have been kind enough to be honest with me, and because I find that I genuinely like you, if I can be equally honest, it would take 30 Tegos to stop us if we want to take something from you.
I don't doubt it. I'm just one man, and I barely was able to keep my dearest friend in the world here with me, rubbing her head again.
Her face softens at that, and Violet looks down and says, I don't like talking like this with you, Tego. I understand you. Let's say we understand each other. And I'll just say that I hope it never comes to a point where we are in conflict.
Don't need to. Y'all are gonna break camp and move on, and we're gonna go our separate ways, and maybe somewhere years down the line we'll meet back and laugh about all this. I'll save you a egg from Steenie's clutch someday.
I would love that. Are you headed back home after this, or do you plan on pressing farther to the west? Or do you prefer not to tell me?
We were out looking for something that I fear is not going to be found, so... Can I ask you a question, though?
Yes, ask me a question.
You seem to have a way with these magnificent creatures.
Yes, and she starts stroking Steenie's snout again. Says, I love them. My upbringing is slightly different. She pulls up what little covering she has on her torso, and as she removes what clothes that she is wearing, you start to see that she has scars, not ritual scars, but deep scars all throughout her body. She says, I was a silverback once. Many, many, many years ago. I had lost my way. Sometimes trauma can put us in positions where we need to find a new identity. Sometimes, though, on the other side of that hellscape, you learn who you always really were.
Is there...
What's that?
Oh, no, please. I didn't mean to interrupt.
She just says, whoever I was back then is not relevant anymore. My name is Violet. It's who I choose to be. It's the name I've chosen for myself. And I no longer live as someone that I was never truly meant to be. I am not trying to hurt people anymore. I'm not trying to emulate these magnificent creatures. Instead, I channel my love for them by caring for them where I can and saving them from the horrific and inhumane practices of a scientific community that has long lost touch with itself.
I actually reach out very gently and slowly and to touch her scar. And if I notice even the slightest hesitance, I immediately stop.
No, she doesn't hit. When she sees you reaching out, you see a small warm smile to her face, and she angles her torso a little bit closer. The scar starts just under her right breast and goes all the way down to about her hip. You can tell what it probably looks like is there was a large implant that was embedded there. And judging from the removal of this implant, it was probably not something to necessarily help with. It was an enhancement. From what you know about silverbacks, it was likely like a metal plate designed to give her armor, or to like exhibit some, because the ritual like cybernetic implanting that silverbacks use often try to turn people into the resemblance of a dinosaur. So as you would see in, for example, the Predation book, it's not unusual to see them with the cybernetic feet and a tail attached to their body with a dino skull on their head, fully war painted up. Like, they are people who have purposely decided to throw humanity away and try to become more of a creature of the Cretaceous period. You can see the scars have all been of the removal.
I look at her and I sort of tighten the leather wraps on my hands with the metal plates across my knuckles, and I say, with the crew I ran with, you had to collect a number of heads to qualify for any form of enhancement.
Were you a scav or a silverback?
I was young. There was some concern I wasn't done growing and hadn't quite earned my keep, but I was well on my way to paying the toll. And my hands do start to shake just slightly until I take a very deep breath, like, and I came to realize it wasn't worth the cost.
Steenie, despite being out, head instantly turns over into your hands.
The way an animal senses, Steenie, you're able to pick up on that. So this Dakota Raptor basically snuggles.
I'm
Violet immediately reacts.
I'm taking care of you now, all right? You come on, you stuff. Like, this gentle as I've ever been, because usually it's like, I don't want kisses. I mean, I super do, but I don't want kisses, you know?
I am going to do a rare thing that doesn't happen in Cypher often. I'm going to roll a d6 here, and
I thought it was going to be an intrusion for snuggles and affection and like emotional vulnerability.
I actually roll 6. So, Steenie, you're going to gain 6 back to your pool.
Oh.
So what happens is first of all, the menstruations of Violet and the proximity of Tego, the rest, also the technology of the age, because Echo's med kit was already cleaned the wound and had already started knitting the flesh back together. And at that point, Steenie is like nudging up against you. You glance down and noticed that wound was horrific. It was a crater in Steenie's side. It absolutely should have killed her. You glance over instinctively. About 100 feet away is a campfire with Echo and everybody sitting at it. Small shapes in the distance right now. But it occurs to you that that woman saved your closest companion. Steenie is basically on the recovery, and tomorrow morning we'll be able to move without having to be carried. Steenie, as a dinosaur, I will tell you you're sore as fuck, and that's going to leave a nice little scar where the
I'm
feathers,
dinosaur.
the feathers, take another 10 intellect damage.
Thank you all for tuning in. All right, bye. No, we're done here. We're
That
done.
was Secret to Silvercreek, everybody.
Yeah, thank you and good night.
I'm
How's
so
the-
pleased, Tina. I'm so proud of you. I love you so much.
I look in the sky. Apparently, the meteor's coming tonight. Oh, okay, great.
Good Lord. Off in the distance, Darren DePaul is hearing the call of his people.
I regain all of my intellect pool.
It's vampiric touch. It just siphons out of me over to River. I will say is that I will say as I do notice she's, her eyes are brightening again, and she's the purring coming out of her. I just look at Violet and I just say, since we're being honest with one another, might I ask you just one more question? Now that now that we know y'all are out here and you know we're out here, and clearly there's something Sati feels of value, are y'all gonna be able to just pack up camp and roll on?
I can't honestly answer that. It'll be up to the queen. And she nods. And then her brow furrows as she sees the queen clearly in a mood, storming across the campsite to one of the other encampment areas. And you catch Violet watching her walk with a furrowed brow and a funny look on her face. Like, it's enough to make you kind of glance like, what the hell are you looking at? And kind of look over, but you see the Queen of Butterflies is in a foul mood as she storms across the encampment.
Well, that don't look too good. But although I realize you ain't the one to make the call, but you know the woman. I'm simply asking for your assessment.
What do you want to know? What, if she is going to have us all pack up and head back home now that this is done?
Or at least have you pack up and not come looking for my home.
There's a silence that falls on the conversation, and Violet gives you a look of uncertainty until she finally speaks and says, whatever the queen wills.
Well, however this is going to go down, I give her the old scav warrior grip. The old way of doing it. At least we can have one pleasant evening, huh?
I take comfort in the fact that if you have to kill me, it'll still be a good death.
And you. At least, I don't think Steenie will be gunning for you, which means I won't either.
B-Dave, Tego notices the look in her eyes for a moment, and she doesn't let your hand go for a second. And then as you start to pull away, she grips it again and looks at you. And holds it. And she continues to look at you, waiting to see what your reaction is going to be.
I feel like Tego's covered in kind of pouches and belts and things. Just whatever the top layer, just unhooks one belt. Because one of two things is about to happen. Either
she glances to the right and removes the rest of what she was showing you, and then starts to pull you aside.
I legit take Steenie and kind of roll her head over. I'm all like, you look over
Steenie,
there.
There's an abrupt shift as suddenly Tego's not next to you anymore. And the last thing you see before these two vanish behind a tree line. Yes, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I just appreciate in Tego's mind, literally, he's like, well, this is about to go one of two ways, and I'm equally comfortable with either. Whatever's about to happen, the answer is yes.
So,
Steenie being a curious little camp. Why did you do this to me? So Steenie knows that there's no more bodies in the room, and now she's awake, and that bothers her.
There is an entire pack of uneaten salted fish that has just been left there.
So it's kind of like a goes to look for Dada. Probably hears Dada moving. She knows what her dad sounds like. Yeah. So here's Dada, and then is like, ooh, food. I'm gonna choose to do the food.
Mm-hmm. Saw them wrestling. It looks like Dad is winning. Yep.
Yeah. There's some pheromones in the air. There's some noises. The food is interesting.
But food, come on, salted fish. Not even kidding. Back
Clever
at
says it's great, like top reviews.
Back at the campfire with y'all, Echo, that data pad is just laying there. I'm guessing you've picked it up at this point. No? Okay, you haven't touched it. It's just like, I mean, it's kind of like the floor is lava kind of thing where you're like,
Yeah, there is so much panic going through Echo's body, like excitement of like, this is the thing, but also it's not real if I don't touch it. And there are
what my reaction would be.
Yeah. And there are 2 other people here who will be curious for me, is kind of what she's doing. So she's staring at it.
Okay.
And all her brain is thinking like, oh shit. Like
River.
Penny secures the high value currency from their own dinosaur, who is currently otherwise occupied, but like that is an interval. That is not a permanent status.
I will say this. Of the 3 of you that is sitting by the fire right now, the one person that can look at that data pad and understand what they're looking at that's not Aldane is River, who is staring at that data readout just wide-eyed.
Yeah, and if Penny's not going to go for it, and if Echo's not going to go for it, then River's going for it.
It's like the last piece of food on the dinner plate, and you're kind of looking at everybody at the table, and you're like, okay, reach out there and grab that.
It's also like River is trying to do the calculations of like, how difficult would it be with the 4 of us to kill all these butterflies? That's
Goose mapped that out so long ago, and it's just not favorable. It's such a shame, but like Goose run those numbers.
But
as a GM, I will tell you that if you try to start a murders here, none of y'all would make it out of here alive.
Yeah, I think River gets that, but like River doesn't like those. So it's like she's like, maybe if I did a no. So she's trying to find the situation in which it is favorable for them, and it's not not coming out.
And I'll get you a little bit of body language that isn't just like GM information. You may not know whether or not Echo would fight. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so you might, right? Like, you don't know that.
That's true.
So,
oh my God, Echo.
I'm saying you might
you don't know
her that way. You don't know.
Yeah,
like, she is being submissive in front of a power, you know, so
and Penny has visibly distrusted her loyalty to our side, and I've known you longer.
Yeah, exactly. Penny is giving Echo cold shoulder right now, so it's like you can weigh that with that assessment of whether we get out alive too.
That definitely helps. But she's gonna pick up that data pad because she wants to know what everyone else seems to know.
All right, you pick up the data pad.
The moment the data pad gets touched, that's when Echo crawls forward.
Okay.
To see what's on it.
River is popping this open now. River, because you are a former Sati employee, you have the ability to access some of the data on this pad. This is going to be a roll. Do you have anything for like computers or?
No. I have perception.
No, that's not going to work here. So this is going to be an intellect task.
Okay, great.
But I'm counting the fact that your history is going to be an asset here.
Okay, great.
Because it's not like this pad is necessarily encrypted heavily. Mm-hmm. It is password protected, but you might be able to do something here.
Okay.
So, all of that factored in, I'm going to set the difficulty at 4.
Oh, you know what? What the fuck am I doing? I want to use my nat 20.
Yeah!
You can burn your Cypher for that 20.
Yeah.
And gain a major effect.
Big brain.
Yeah.
Yes.
You galaxy brain your way into this? All right.
Yes.
So how did that Cypher function again? Was it it was a
automatic nat 20 on a
roll?
roll.
An injection, right? Was it like a stim that basically you pop?
It was No, I actually think
it's encoded on your DNA.
Yeah, it is. There you go.
Okay.
You're genetically
looking at this
awesome.
pad, and you share a look with Echo for a second,
Mhm.
and you watch River close her eyes for a moment, and you begin to see this luminescent glow around the temples of her brain, like around the temples of her face. Like you see the veins, like a warm light spreading on the sides of her face as she activates the cipher that she encountered in the time anomaly. Encoded in your DNA, it essentially throws open the doors to a clear mind.
Wow.
You achieve for a brief second a state of total understanding and the ability to look ahead and jump code. And in just a few seconds, you watch her without, you don't have to, you can roll if you want to, River, but you don't have to.
I don't want to.
In just a few seconds, you watch River, just a few like fingers tapping this pad as she unlocks all security access on the pad. Something that Aldane probably has not been able to do.
Yeah.
And you see the file directory come up of Silvercreek, also known as Bunker Site 000E.
Okay. I mean, what are the labels of the files that come up?
A lot of them looks like it's like admin and known research and things like that. You also see security clearances.
Okay.
In other words, a file where probably the code to get inside is being kept.
Yeah, I think that he wants to see like what's in the bunker, right? Like I think that's the biggest thing. So right now, anything with security clearance, or if so she's gonna just like quickly scan through as many as possible. It's almost like just skimming files just to see where everything is at.
Sure.
She's gonna try and locate the one, and she'll probably start in security with the ones that need the highest clearance.
Tap security clearance, and as it opens up, you do indeed see, like the first thing you notice is this command to override to access the bunker.
Great.
Oh my
You
God.
see the code that gives you complete entry and clearance into Silvercreek.
Can we see anything of what you're doing? Are you like really blocking us?
Yeah, I imagined it was like over us. I'm gonna say
I imagine River's going.
I just wordlessly feed another piece of fish to Clever.
Oh, yes, good.
And I just, in my head canon, when you activate that cipher, I just hear the Cyberman upgrade in progress. And you start like, looking at the data pad.
Is it a difficult piece of information to memorize?
Let me put it this way.
Yeah.
I would say that if there was ever any doubt, you're not in danger of forgetting what this clearance code is.
Okay, great.
That's something let me give you an example here, Rave, because this is like a great way of using the Cypher system to your advantage. The experience points that you gain in Cypher system let you do crazy stuff like re-roll dice, but they also let you take control of the narrative. So you can actually, you know how I've been doing GM intrusions? You actually have the option of doing a player intrusion and say, I'm going to spend an XP to make this true.
Yeah.
Like, oh, look, I have a weapon. Or I'm going to remember with perfect clarity what that security code was, or anything like that. You can actually make shit true. So you're not in danger of losing this info.
Okay, yeah. I just don't want like to accidentally I don't want 9 to come along, step on the data pad.
And now we could conceivably
smashes
destroy
into it
it,
just as you unlock it.
And he's
and
like,
then it lives in your brain.
It
Yep.
smells like time. Munch.
I do want to see like if there's any like memo about like how they describe Silvercreek.
So here's what you learn, because you said you were tapping through the files to get summaries as quickly as possible, because you know you have limited time with this data pad. So you get the access code to the bunker, which causes all three of you to just sort of gasp to yourselves. This is information that has been lost for 80 years, and here it is. The second thing that you notice is the other directories, a lot of them are empty. Probably because some of the information was encoded or lost, but you do see a really vital piece of information, something that grabs your attention right away and is enough to cause all three of you to feel a chill lancing through your bodies. SATI site 000E was a monitoring site specifically designed to chart and monitor celestial data input. In other words, it was an observatory that was tracking the movement of the sun and the celestial bodies. around Earth during the Cretaceous period. This is a SATI research site that immediately, the context that it delivers, all of you in like the Goonies discovering One-Eyed Willie's map, have a moment where you kind of look at each other, realizing the implications of what it is you're holding.
They can't destroy this.
We need to find Table. We need to get back.
What are you going to do with that?
I'll put it back.
Can you mess it up?
Can we
Like,
take it with us?
put in wrong things?
If we take it with us, it'll speed up. It'll speed up Aldane's track. We have to put it back. She won't know
I
how to
grab
open
it, I shove it in River's face. I say, like, make it say it's a thing about a sewer system. I don't care. Just like make it not a
Yeah,
this.
can River wipe this data pad?
You can certainly try.
Okay. Do would like to try.
Okay. I'm going to say to wipe this data pad is going to be a difficulty 5 check.
Okay. Great. Good thing I have nothing on.
XP can also be used for rerolls.
Oh, okay, great.
Are you fully wiping it, or are you changing the details?
I think you know what? Great question. I think I'm changing the details. I think that if we fully wipe it, it's almost like well, obviously they did something to it, or someone did something to it. And I think that would also like trigger more anxiety. So it's almost just like, if we can make them like Silvercreek adjacent, or just like futzing with the numbers a little. Okay. I'm gonna use 1 point of XP because I have 2 more left. You use 1 point of XP to re-roll because I rolled a 3, and we're not settling for that. Oh, thank God. I mean, maybe I rolled an 18. Does that?
Yeah, that does it. It was a difficulty 5 check. That's 15 or higher.
So it was 15. You look at this for a second, and you just you begin tapping on the data pad, and about that moment, you start hearing the footsteps of Aldane returning. You can see her starting to cross the campsite as she's on her way over to you, and you work feverishly as you're tapping on this thing, and you see an erasure in progress. And it completes, it deletes everything right in just a matter of seconds, wipes it from the data pad.
And I think that she's going to hand it to Echo. And then she'd like to whistle to 9 to cause a distraction. Because right now, if anything can buy Echo more time to get this like back or put this back, or hide it, it's going to be this 9 distraction.
So then my question for you is, how, if you're trying to give a command to 9 and do it in a way that is not obvious,
okay,
I'm going to raise the difficulty from 3 to 4.
Okay, that's fine.
While you're rolling that, go ahead, Tego.
I was just gonna say, it's if I might make a suggestion, tell him to look for time particles.
Yeah. It was it's dinner time. Like, let's look for time particles right now, bud. Let's do that right now, bud. Okay, I got a 16, my friends.
That does it.
Okay. So you kind of whistle over 9. This is up to you. How do you interpret this?
So again, I've been keeping everybody safe. Great job. Everyone's still alive, no blood. And now Mom's saying, look for time particles. Good, great, grand. What is the biggest building in this place? Because obviously the place with the most stuff is where the most time would gather.
The biggest structure in the
yeah.
That would be where Echo, River, and Penny are currently seated.
So yeah, I apparently this is where the time is. Like, they don't even know. Like, I've been brought to double check. So I'm
an expert.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I very much am wondering, are there any I mean, I realize this is a camp they kind of put up and break down, but I mean, is there anything almost like a shed-like structure, or any kind of like side elements to this, like a shed or anything out there?
It's like a lean-to kind of energy, I think.
Yeah, is it like a lean-to thing?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, then I just started knocking shit over though, because apparently apparently the time is under this other stuff. That's why mom can't find it. So yeah, just
So humans.
boom, yeah. Although he really does look though, like I mean, because she, as far as he knows, she's like check for time. He's like okay, so he is trying in the process of wrecking a bunch of shit because that part does not occur to him.
Great. So she's gonna peel away from Echo and like try to pay attention to 9. It's like, what is it?
Echo's gonna just shove it sort of like up her clothes in the back really fast.
No, we have to
What?
we have to return it, right?
Yes.
So why don't we just return it?
We wiped it.
Can't be seen with a 9, buddy. What's going on?
I'm
got
gonna.
a few moments left. What are you
I
doing?
will walk up to Aldane. I'm gonna walk straight up to Aldane and I'm gonna say, "Can I talk to you for a minute, alone?"
Multiple distractions. She stops dead in her tracks as she's approaching you and says, "You have a moment. What do you want?"
Alone.
Fine. The two of you step aside she leads you over to the outskirts of the camp where there's no immediate tent set up.
Okay.
River would like to calm down 9 now. Now
Okay.
that's happened.
Roll.
Yeah.
3.
Oh God, you got a 6.
A 6?
Yep.
Okay, that's a fail. So we're going to get to that in a second.
No, mom. I got this. You said find the time holes. I will locate the time hole.
You're like, 9, you can calm down now. And 9's like, keep doing it? Okay.
Do more
I shall
of it.
intensify doing the thing.
Right. Yeah. No, mom wants me to show off for the new people. I get it. Oh, okay. Yeah. And then just like the full like body check into trees and things. Like this is me at my 90th because apparently we need to let these people understand who we are.
9 is at a 10.
So you are off to the side now.
Yeah.
With Aldane by yourselves.
Yeah.
You're remembering how menacing she can be to other people because people move aside when she walks past them. And she comes to a stop and looks at you severely as the two of you stand on the outskirts of the camp.
Echo's heart is racing.
As you open your mouth to speak, she blurts out, "You put me in impossible situations."
I'm sorry, Oldie.
I am queen of the butterflies. I live my life believing in our cause. I have to lead these people. I can't make exceptions.
Why don't you lead them to help us?
Because
fight with us.
You're on a bunker, Echo.
Help us
A
protect
Sati
it.
bunker. There's an opportunity to destroy technology that was owned by Sati, technology that they clearly treasure. This is a chance to strike at them.
You don't know they treasure
Move your
it.
town.
It's not that simple.
We'll help you. That'll be our gift. You give us the bunker. We'll help you find a new place to live.
Why don't you just help us protect our home, Aldi? Protect what we have left. And I just grab her. It's where Mom and Dad live. Come on.
You know that's not how this is going to work.
Why can't you just break the rules? You don't know what it is. What if it's nothing? What if you destroy it and it's nothing?
It's a
Or
metal
what if it's helpful?
If it's an empty bunker with nothing in it, it should still be destroyed.
It's been empty for 80 years, Aldi.
You can't lie to me. You've never been able to lie to me your whole life.
I'm not lying to you.
You refuse to tell me. I'm letting you and your friends go. Go back to your settlement and tell them that you found us. And after that, I can't guarantee you anything.
I take the data pad out. I shove it into her chest and I say, then I'm letting you go too. And I storm away from her.
It's a turning point as you walk away from her. She, for the first time since you can remember, doesn't have a comeback to that. She watches you storm off, holding the datapad to her chest. And the moment is only mildly overshadowed by the fact that there's an ankylosaur currently destroying the entire structure from which you just walked into. And you hear butterflies shouting as they're running towards it. But that almost seems muted into the fact that tomorrow morning, when you all saddle up and depart back to Silvercreek, you do so knowing that two of the strongest factions here in La Remedia are currently aiming to come for your home. And those who you once called family have chosen what they do over you.
I walk past my friends and I just kind of collapse into Goose's armpit. Like,
It's T-Rex.
This is the least Karn you've ever seen, Echo, if you were watching her. She looks like a broken child. And she's just cradling Goose.
Goose has been asleep or asleep. Realistically, they're not going to sleep well while Breg is here. They will never sleep well while Breg lives. They might not remember once Breg is out of their sight, but that's not the point. When Echo comes back, Goose opens their eye again, leans to the side, takes you in. And bops you in the scar on your chest.
I just hold you there. I hold as much of your snout as I can against my body like a gravity dinosaur blanket.
Goose throws their head back so you come back with them and end up sort of splayed along the top of their chest. So the scar on your chest and the scar on theirs is touching. And they breathe out. And it is hot and uncomfortable in your face. And you may not leave. You are Goose's person. Stay.
Echo stays.
Penny, as the night begins to, as the sun has begun to set now on the campsite, and things seem to have been calming down, you've found yourself a quiet moment off to the side with your Bambi Raptor, Clever, who is just absolutely pleased with herself. You found a quiet moment to nestle down and have a moment to yourself regarding all of this. What are you doing right now?
After everything and people stormed off or took care of things or tried to stop their ankylosaurs from rampaging through an entire encampment, Penny made sure the fire was banked and took a piece of charcoal out of the banked fire. I go over to a soft bark kind of tree and take their knife and scrape it across so they have a thin sheet of bark, and they get a nice flat slate, and they put the bark over that, and they walk over to where those trikes were, the ones that were getting throttled earlier. And they settle down in front of Violet's trike. And I start drawing.
It's like a big cow. Oh, I can't. Can you angle it a little bit to the center? Didn't get to see that.
Try. Yeah.
A little bit more. Oh, you switched.
More towards your nose.
Yeah, hold it right in front of your face.
Oh, that's
God.
beautiful. Oh,
There
wow.
you go. Holy shit, Sam.
You've been spending your XP wisely.
I was just doodling while we were doing this. So yeah, this, and they meditate on things that are mixed.
And that is where we're going to leave off today's episode of Secrets of Silvercreek. Everyone gained 4 XP. This was a huge episode of discovery. You get discovery for using ciphers, you get XP in Cypher system for making discoveries, not combat. You're rewarded for role play, discovering, uncovering information, revealing mysteries, and there were some big ones this episode. You have basically revealed what the secret of Silvercreek is. Now, what does it have to say to you? There's this urgency to get back home as quickly as possible. You have the potential of accessing data that has been coveted and lost, presumably to time. What could be on that database could change everything about humans living here in the Cretaceous period. So we'll see you all next Saturday. Everyone, please have a safe Halloween tonight. I will fight anybody who says candy corn is nasty. I love that shit.
Eric, meet me outside.
Yeah, you might have.
Distance.
Yeah, I can bring some candles by for you to chew on afterwards.
Yeah. I'm good. I love that flavored wax. All y'all, have a great Halloween. Thank you so much for hanging out this Saturday afternoon with the Stream Punks. Really appreciate it. We will see you, of course, Monday night. We'll be back for Clear Skies. And information coming soon on the makeup game for Blood of the Void that we unfortunately had to miss this past Monday. So stay tuned for that. Until then, my friends, good luck as you returned back to the modern days. And don't forget to vote. We'll see you next time.